Welcome to this review of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 from Arcade1Up. This is a little bit of a review. My name is Dan, and today we're going to take an in-depth look at one of the all-time classic fighting games of 2003. It's also a little bit of a challenge to the Arcade1Up community or arcade community in general, though I know probably because it's a challenge I won't get too many likes on this, which is okay. But this could be considered one of the most controversial cabinets ever put out by Arcade1Up, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, honestly, everyone has their panties in a nitty with this one. Did I just say panties in a nitty? And I couldn't disagree more. I'm not trying to create controversy, but if you watched any of my other videos, I have to ask you as a consumer who might be interested in this cabinet. Why is there so much hate? But again, more on that later. I want to look at the mechanics of the game, the visuals, the sound, the music, the characters, the game modes, the user interface available, and the overall gameplay experience. So let's start with the basics. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a tag team fighting game featuring characters from both the Marvel Comics universe as well as Capcom's universe of video game characters. Players can choose 3 characters from a roster of 56 and do battle in one of the most iconic fighting games experiences ever. And I love being able to have a few characters that I know from the Street Fighter 2 games and combine them with some of these Marvel characters that I've never played before. And I kind of just love being able to do that and learn their new moves, and with over 56 characters to choose from, nothing else comes close. So the visual graphics of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 are some of the best seen in any 2D fighting game, and remain sharp and really vibrant even for today's standards. Arcade1Up released this cabinet with a BOE monitor, which it's perfect. It goes perfect with this cabinet, and the only other fighting game that was even remotely close to this in vibrancy, in my opinion, was put out by Neo Geo in the same year when they did their the King of Fighters series. So they did their King of Fighters series. Neo Geo did a great job, which, by the way, is an amazing game as well. I have that on my MVSX cabinet over there. But the artwork and character designs are so impressive with this Marvel vs. Capcom 2, staying true to both Marvel and Capcom's distinct styles. So there's a song called I Want to Take You for a Ride. And now that song has been literally stuck in my mind ever since I got this cabinet. I want to take you for a ride. I won't sing it, actually. I just did. I'm sorry. But to be honest, I really wasn't going to buy this cabinet because of all the hate against this cabinet that's out there on the YouTube channels currently. I watched so many YouTube videos of people saying that they weren't going to support YouTube or Arcade1Up anymore. They weren't even going to do any more content centered around Arcade1Up community and so many other things. And it's very interesting to me. And perhaps you are just getting into this hobby. Perhaps you've been in the hobby since Gen 1 cabinets were released so long ago, which I was, and I really loved even those. And maybe you've been influenced by those who want originals, or anything less than originals isn't going to do. And I got to have the supreme, perfect fighting experience on this Arcade1Up cabinet. But unless you are financially set for life, I mean, let's be honest, if you're financially set for life, you're not looking at this channel. You're not looking at Arcade1Up, right? If you have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on full-sized cabinets, and you have the room, and you have the expertise to be able to fix and repair the cabinets, then this, if you don't have that, this will be your next best bet to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on an arcade. Now, to me, having almost 20 of these Arcade1Ups is the upgrade. What I think is so great is the upgrade of the joystick that they gave with the Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It is by far and away much better and much more responsive. And I have to say that I was not expecting this. The buttons are the same as we've come to know, and so again, no surprises there. Why should we think that we'll get something different this time around? Particularly amidst the massive inflation that we are all experiencing. Even Arcade1Up as a community, no doubt, is experiencing this. Now, I've watched a few videos, and I've heard that this game, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, isn't for your average consumer. Wait, what? I would say that I'm an average consumer, right? I'm pretty average, right? I'm not above average. I'm not like a top tier consumer. I'm not a professional consumer. I'm an average. I'm not a below average consumer. I'm a consumer, right? There isn't some secret society of hardcore gamers, hardcore fans that pays monthly dues just to play this game. Unless I'm mistaken, Arcade1Up created this cabinet to make money. That's what they're in the business to do, because that's what they're trying to accomplish in life. They're creating a business to make money. right? And if they aren't, then they're going to go the way of SNK and go into bankruptcy. But we're going to kind of deal with that a little bit later. But I've heard YouTubers say this, that this game was just for profits. That YouTube created this game just for profits. That they didn't take their time in getting the online forum out, and so on and so forth. Well, yeah, they are in it just for the profits. I mean, that's primarily why they started. I mean, they probably loved arcades, which you can tell that they loved arcades, but they're in it for profits. They aren't in it just for shits and giggles. Another YouTuber states that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 isn't for casual gamers. I'm sorry. How many of the YouTubers talking about their disdain for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, with their rooms full of arcade 1-ups, mind you, having already spent thousands of dollars on said arcade 1-ups, think that maybe their pie-in-the-sky dream of one day stepping on stage at the International or DreamHack, two of the biggest esports competitions around, and strolling up there with their fingers flexed thinking, you know what, I'm going to own this competition because I have an arcade 1-up, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and I've been practicing on that. I mean, at some point, you just need to sit back and laugh at some of these people getting so angry on YouTube. And if that's what you're looking for on this channel, for me to bash Arcade 1-Up, then that's not really, this channel isn't for you, because I love all of the Arcade 1-Ups, and I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I do love everything that Arcade 1-Up is trying to do and accomplish for your average consumer, right, which is me. And if you're watching this, that's probably you too. I hate to say that. If you think that you're not an average consumer, you probably are, and that's okay. You're in good company. Now, let me let you in on a little secret here. I've actually never played Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I know. I am discredited by the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 community right away. In fact, and now I don't really know what I'm talking about, apparently. I've never played, let me just use this example. I've never played Major Havoc on the Atari before. But when I got the Atari cabinet, the anniversary cabinet, with the Tempest, and it just looks amazing, I'm like, what is this Major Havoc? And I played it for the first time, and now I play it all the time. It's one of my most favorite played games. And now I get to play an intense, amazing, wonderful, and beautiful game called Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the arcade. And on a regular basis, I play against my son and his friends, and we have an absolute blast. They would never play this game unless Arcade 1-Up put it out. And I would never have played this amazing game unless they did put that out as well. I would never have played it. This leads to the final thing that I'll mention. Again, some YouTubers have said repeatedly that Arcade 1-Up is not listening to the consumer. Okay, I just have to laugh. I mean, we just kind of sit back, just laugh a little bit at this. Who do you think Arcade 1-Up is as a company? Do you think that they have the money, the connections, and the resources that, say, like a Google company would have? Of course they are listening to the community. That's why we have the cabinets and the games that we have. Of course they're listening to it. But there's a reason why they haven't put out a Qbert cabinet. There's a reason why they haven't put out a Spy Hunter cabinet, because they don't think that that'll make them the kind of money to keep them afloat right now. And that's what we need. We need them to stay afloat. We want them to keep putting content out for us to play and bring home. I mean, that's the whole point of this. Really quick, I just want to say, if you like or appreciate anything that I'm saying, or if you disagree with it, that's okay, but please like and subscribe to this video. It helps out a lot. I'm trying to get more traction. I want to get the community more positive towards Arcade 1-Up, and everybody is, right now that I'm hearing, is just so negative all the time. So if you do want to be a part of that, please like and subscribe. We'll get some more videos out like this. See, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is an incredible cabinet. It has 8 games to choose from. I mean, that's incredible. I remember in Gen 1 getting the 3 or 4 cabinets that they put out in Gen 1. And we only had half of the games if we were lucky on one cabinet. I mean, just as an example, the Galaga cabinet comes with 2 games. 2 games for Galaga and Galaxian. All right, the Rampage cabinet came out with 4 games. The Street Fighter 2 cabinet came out with 3 games. All right, and I think Pac-Man came out with 4 games as well. There are 8 incredibly amazing games on this cabinet, and all of them are fun and beautiful. That's what I would argue. All of them. Is this cabinet worth your money? I would argue absolutely. And it comes with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and Marvel Superheroes in War of the Gems. If you are looking for a cabinet that is different than anything else Arcade 1-Up has put out, in a fighting genre, then this is it. It's 1,000 times, in my opinion, better than the Mortal Kombat for combos, better than the Street Fighters, and just as much fun to play and have a good time. Now, those games are amazing, don't get me wrong, but this is a lot quicker, and I regret nothing from buying this cabinet. And I would have done so even without online play. But we have to be patient for the online portion of this game. I know everybody's like, oh, I purchased it thinking that it was going to all be set up. Yeah, that is fully unfortunate. I get the frustrations there, but that doesn't discredit this cabinet. This cabinet is gorgeous. In my opinion, they rushed this game out because the consumers were demanding it. They were listening to the consumers, and so they demanded it, and they didn't fully integrate the online portion of it. And one can argue that the other platforms that were able to do this, like the Dreamcast or the PS3 or Xbox 360, they were able to do it, so why can't Arcade 1-Up do it? Well, think about it for just a second. Just think, stop and think. For a second, these companies, do you think that the Dreamcast company or PS3 or Xbox companies, for a second, would like to share their profits, their data on helping Arcade 1-Up make money? Right. That is not going to happen. See, overall, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, this cabinet is a classic fighting game, and it is incredible. My son loves to play it. Both of my sons love to play it. In fact, my oldest, who's almost 16, wants to come in and he wants to practice it so that he can beat me on it. Unfortunately, I grew up with fighting games. He didn't. He grew up with like Call of Duty stuff or Fortnite or what have you, and he's not good at fighting games. He never will beat Dad. I'm sorry, son. I love you, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, I have the 80s and 90s skills that are inbred in me. You just don't have those, bud. That's trash talk for my son, in case you didn't notice. But what you need to do with this game is just kind of relax and enjoy all the 8 incredible games that it comes with. And most of them are fighting games, 2 of them are not, and they're incredible to play. So crank up the volume, listen to the beat drop, research those combos and max attacks, and join in on the incredible experience that Arcade 1-Up continues to bring us.